Radio WM.
It's almost 2 years since the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, but people living in Perry Barr, they're really frustrated that their local park next to the Alexander Stadium still hasn't been sorted out. Parts of the green space were changed for the games, playgrounds were taken out, and they still haven't been put back. So when will things change then? For the better? Our reporter Laura Chiverton has been speaking to James Hinton, Chair of Friends of Perry Park.
Yeah, it's very frustrating for local people when they hear about huge underspends and in terms of the overall budget for the games, and when they hear about the word legacy being thrown around all the time, to think that people couldn't have prioritised 100,000 quid to put some play equipment back in where kids have got nowhere else safe to play here. It is mind-boggling. You owe it to people to actually, you borrowed their park for a moment of time, put it back so that people can use it the way they want it to be done.
And we just walked over to the tarmacked area, a very big tarmacked area over there. That wasn't there before the games, was it?
That's right. That was a lovely big open space where people would play football. They'd run around with dogs. They'd genuinely would have picnics in the summer, that sort of thing. So nice to have open green space. It's very important. And now for a few years prior to the games and now getting on for 2 years afterwards, it's been a huge lump of tarmac in the middle of a park.
And I know that's one of a few issues that you've been wanting the council to sort out. Can you talk me through those conversations with them?
So we're pleased at the moment in that there's a new team who've been assigned the job of fixing this park. Over the past couple of years it's been very difficult because the previous team had taken quite an antagonistic approach to trying to achieve different ambitions from what the local communities wanted to see. So it's been very challenging, but I think this is I think it's a pleasing example where local action can actually make a difference, and it's good to see that the new team have listened to what local people actually want to see. They've understood the issues. They've taken the time to engage with us properly, okay, there's less money than there was a few years ago, but their designs now meet the key needs that local people have got. But what will need to happen is for most of the open spaces to be returned as they were before, the literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Harris fence panels to be taken down, areas made safe, and for people just to be able to use it as a park, which is what it was. We have a stadium within a park, not a park that happens to be built around it.
And as you say there's still what you can only describe really as games debris here as well. The fencing that's blown over, grass has started to even grow over that, the yellow blocks that were holding up that fencing is all still here.
Yeah, it's very frustrating that there is debris. There's those yellow blocks chucked in the stream a little bit further up here as well, which are too heavy for us as volunteers to lift out. That needs someone who's got equipment or a truck to take it away. So it does feel it feels disappointing. It feels frankly contemptuous of local people that there are dangerous aspects here as well. I know the parks team have done the best that they can, but their hands have been tied because until recently this was designated as a sport department project, and the parks department weren't allowed to maintain areas that they wanted to do. So it's been very political within the council.
Because the plan was for a sports complex, a volleyball pitch, which would have closed off that section of the park to the public where the Beaches estate is, 1,200 homes, that's their green space closest to them. Is that now not going ahead?
Well, I mean, it was a sunny day today, but I don't really fancy going and playing beach volleyball in this country. But that's not going ahead. But whether that's because of coming to terms with the situation that this park has, or whether that's simply because the money isn't there anymore, that's not for me to say. But no, thankfully that area will now be returned to the community. It's so important that space is open back up to people, and thankfully with this new team in place, that's what they promised to do.
And what about the issue with the playgrounds as well? Because there were playgrounds here before the games, they were taken out to make way for the games, and they're still not here.
Yeah, that's a really important point. So the contract that the council had with the Commonwealth Games Organising Committee was such that the playground that was ripped out to make way for an access road was supposed to be put back in by the end of December 2022. Now, the Commonwealth Games Organising Committee negotiated a deal with the council to pay them 125,000 quid, and then the council will put that equipment back in. Nothing's happened until now, and the plans that were submitted to people to look at last summer would have built a huge playground in the middle of the park, away from where local people live. It's so important, that location. It's next to a block of flats where the kids who are living in those don't have back gardens to play in. They don't have anywhere safe to play, but their parents could look out the window and see them playing safely on that equipment in that location. So this will be the third summer since that equipment was ripped out where those kids don't have anywhere safe to play, but at least they've understood the issue and they're on the case.
Well, we did ask Birmingham City Council for their response to all of this, but after 3 days of waiting last week, they haven't given us any new information about their plans for Perry Park. The latest update on their website says that temporary fencing is in place to keep pedestrians safe, and they have tried to keep the park as more accessible as can be possible. They're saying that work needs to reinstate Perry Park after the games. It started in early 2023 for things to change and be better, and they've been completed in some of the areas. And the rest will finish at different stages later on this year. There was a meeting as well about this earlier this month. The council presented their new plans to the community, and we'll be getting into that later on in The Breakfast Show.
Rakeem Omar at Breakfast.
On BBC